Hey folks, I wanted to do a quick tip video for you today about the True Gold Refinement event that comes around to Kingdoms every couple of weeks. I get asked all sorts of questions about this event because there are many different packs that you can choose from to trade in what's known as Lesser True Gold. You can also get some free sources for doing it, you can spend gems for it, you can spend cash for it. So there's all these optimization type of questions. Like, is it worth it? Should I spend gems on it? Should I spend money on it? Is that a better value for True Gold than other sources? So we're going to look through this event together and optimize it and help you figure out how to get the most True Gold out of it, whether you spend or are free to play. But first, let's quickly start with the no regrets moves. Every time this event comes around, you can get up to 10 Lesser True Gold for free if you do the Gathering quest and the Stamina quest. And bear in mind here, unlike some of the other Gathering quests you might be used to on gathering resources, this one does not scale. So if you're going and gathering iron, for instance, it's going to take you quite a long time. And part of the challenge of this is that it tends to overlap with the All-Out event, and depending on your server dynamics, this could be a very dangerous time to gather resources. So this is definitely where you should leverage the Grip of the Titan ability from the Bison pet. It'll allow you to instantly gather, and thus complete this event with only 2 times using it. Easy enough over a 2-day period. And the Stamina one, you'll get naturally. Now I'll circle back to the question of how good these actually are in terms of value once we go through the actual prizes you can get. Essentially what you do is you take this Lesser True Gold and you decide where to trade it in from a variety of packs. So you can do this common True Gold pack and do it a few times, or if you do some of the higher value ones, you can only do them once each time the event comes around. Now to complicate matters a little bit further, it doesn't just give you all the True Gold directly, it also provides a True Gold chest which has its own set of probabilities to figure out if you come out ahead. Now fortunately, if you just go through and do the math, this one can be solved pretty easily. If you have a 55% chance of getting 5 True Gold, that's an expected value of 2.75. You have a 27% chance of getting 10 True Gold, that's a 2.7 expected value, so on and so forth. And if you add these all up, weighted by their probabilities, each one of these chests comes out to an average of 12.8 True Gold. So what this means is we can very simply figure out how much True Gold we get in each of these packs if we multiply the number of chests by 12.8 and add it to the standard amount of True Gold that you get. So at this point, you might be looking at my screen and saying, well, wait a second, my numbers look a little bit different. And you may in fact have different numbers depending on your kingdom age. Some might have different values per pack or different limits to the amount of refined True Gold that they can purchase, and some might not even have the Lucky Pack as an option at all. So I checked with a bunch of viewers to share screenshots of their versions of the event on the Play Smarter community, and I crunched a bunch of numbers and kept coming to the same conclusion since these values increase over time as your kingdom advances in True Gold stages and pack values grow. So since this all moves up proportionally, while I'm going to use the numbers from my account for this video, the takeaways will still be the same for you. So to go through them real quick, you would get 4 for the common True Gold pack, 64 for the Lucky Pack, 70.6 for the Uncommon pack, and by the way, this is the same 50 Lesser True Gold as the Lucky Pack, so the Uncommon one comes out slightly ahead. You also get 141.2 for the Rare pack, 282.4 for the Epic pack, and 706 True Gold for the Mythic pack. So if you divide the amount of total True Gold you get for each of these packs by the amount of Lesser True Gold to trade in for the pack, it will essentially give you a ratio of how to get the most True Gold per Lesser True Gold. In this one, it's simple enough, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. If you do the Lucky True Gold pack, you get 1.28 True Gold per each of the 50 Lesser True Gold it costs. But for the other packs, the Uncommon, the Rare True Gold, the Epic True Gold, and the Mythic ones, these all give you 1.412 True Gold. So that means this Lucky True Gold pack, even though it has this siren call of being able to get these really big numbers, it's actually less expected value and a worse value conversion for your Lesser True Gold than just getting the Uncommon True Gold pack directly. At the same time, the Uncommon True Gold, Rare True Gold, Epic, and Mythic are also not all weighted equally. While they have the same amount of True Gold per Lesser True Gold in terms of what you're turning in versus the expected value, the VIP tokens actually don't scale as well. So if we look at the Lucky True Gold pack and the Uncommon True Gold pack, these both give 2,500 VIP tokens. That's 50 VIP tokens per Lesser True Gold. But if you do the math for the Rare one, it's actually 40 per Lesser True Gold, 30 per Lesser True Gold for the Epic, and only 24 VIP tokens per Lesser True Gold for the Mythic pack. Which means of all of these packs, the Uncommon True Gold pack is actually the best value. Unfortunately, it's gated by how many times you can purchase it every time the event comes around, but if you're a free-to-play player, you definitely won't go past that cap. But if you're a spender and you're going to be getting a bunch of extra Lesser True Gold for this, you should be first getting the Uncommon True Gold pack, then the Rare True Gold pack, and so on and so forth, because those actually give you slightly better value, as far as the VIP points are concerned. Okay, so now let's just take a step back for a second. We've conclusively shown that the Uncommon True Gold pack is the one that you should be prioritizing. Whether you're getting it each time it comes around because you're purchasing, or because you've saved up from multiple times this event has come around as a free-to-play player. So now the question becomes, is it worth spending gems on? And is it worth spending money on relative to other opportunities to get True Gold for cash? So let's talk about these one by one. But first, a special thank you to my Sloth Squad channel members whose continued support helps make these guides possible. Also thanks to my friends over at the Play Smarter community who have just made a new way for serious spenders to invest smarter and support my channel by leveraging your in-game spend with creator code SLOTH. Check out the link below in the description for details. So like we said, every single one of these Lesser True Golds can be turned in for at least 1 True Gold, depending on which type of pack you're redeeming. Which means in a worst case scenario, you're getting each of these True Gold for 500 gems per True Gold. That happens to be the benchmark that you would see in other types of pack. It's a bit beyond the scope of this video, but you actually can figure out the gem benchmark for True Gold and a bunch of other items if you look at all the various data from all the various packs that the game provides you. But the short version of all that is that 500 gems per True Gold is actually the exact amount that it benchmarks to. But it also means that if you're getting a better pack like this Uncommon True Gold pack, you're actually getting about 354 gems cost per True Gold. This is a far better value than the benchmark of 500. So if you have the extra gems to spare, this is actually a good value to get because of how it translates to True Gold versus other sources of it. And on top of that, there are very few sources in the game for a free-to-play player to get additional True Gold by spending gems. So I take advantage of this every single time it comes around and buy out all 15. Even if it doesn't give me enough to get the Uncommon True Gold pack that time. I'll just get it on the next one. It's also worth pointing out that again, you do get some VIP points. However, the benchmark for those is 20 gems for 10 VIP points, or 2 gems per VIP point, and even slightly better if you find them occasionally at the Nomadic Merchant. But here the math comes out to about 10 gems per VIP point. So it's nice that you get some, but if your goal is to actually maximize VIP points with gems, you're giving up a bit of that in order to get the True Gold. But overall, this hasn't deterred me from getting it. And lastly, let's come back to the cash value of these packs. Look, spending's a personal decision, and I'm not going to tell you whether or not it makes sense to spend cash on True Gold. However, if you've already made that decision and you're wondering if this is a better way to get True Gold per cash spent versus some of the other options, that I can help you with. If we look at the standard True Gold value pack that you can get from the top-up center, it benchmarks 40 True Gold and 2,500 VIP points for $5. So if we compare that here, that same $5 gets you 50 Lesser True Gold, which we said you can already get at least 50 True Gold from it, but if you're trading it for the Uncommon True Gold pack, you actually get that expected value of 70.6 True Gold in total. And you get those same 2,500 VIP points. So you do come out ahead if you're choosing to use this method to purchase True Gold with cash as opposed to the standard top-up. Now as you go to some of these higher tier packs, you do start to lose out on the VIP tokens, but again, your True Gold exchange ratio is so much better per dollar spent that this is probably a better way to do it if you're planning to spend cash on True Gold. But not so fast. There is one other way we have to account for purchasing True Gold, and that is the True Gold Weekly card. Just like before, the numbers for this will be different for each of you, and some of you might not even get this True Gold Weekly card chest yet if your server is too early in age. For what it's worth, if you do the expected value math for all the contents inside of this chest, it is worth 7.18 True Gold for each chest that you get. And you get 7 of them, one for each day of the week, along with 13 True Gold plus the initial 28 True Gold immediately up front. This gives you a total expected value of True Gold of 169.26 for this $5 pack. Now, even considering that there are no VIP tokens awarded for this pack, it is far better value in terms of True Gold per dollar for this pack than anything that you'll get in the True Gold Refinement event. Now you can only buy one of these per week, so you may be looking for additional True Gold than this, but I would always recommend getting this one before any of the True Gold Refinement packs just because it's the best way to get True Gold per money spent. So overall, be sure to take advantage of this event every time it comes around. Whether or not you're a free-to-play player or you spend, this is actually some of the best conversion rates for you to get True Gold in the game, so don't miss out. And if this video has been helpful to you, check out the rest of my quick tip playlist. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure that you're always up to date with the latest guides as I post them. Thanks again for watching, and happy gaming out there.